Start with a warm, engaging tone. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something we all experience, but most of us are terrified to admit. Failure. That's right, the big F word. We see highlight reels on social media, success stories everywhere, and we start to think that we're the only ones messing up. But what if I told you that failure is the opposite of success? What if it's actually a critical part of the path to success? Let's be real for a second. Think back to when you were a baby. Did you just stand up one day and start running a marathon? Of course not. You tried to stand, and you fell. You fell a lot. You wobbled. You stumbled. You probably landed on your diaper-cushioned butt hundreds of times. And what happened? Did your parents say, "Well, that's it. This walking thing isn't for you"? No. Every fall was just data. It was your brain learning about balance, gravity, and muscle coordination. Failure was your teacher. Somehow, as we get older, we unlearn that beautiful, natural process. We develop this intense fear of failure. We worry about what other people will think. We worry about looking foolish or incompetent. This fear can be so paralyzing that it stops us from even trying. We choose the safe path, the predictable one. Not because it's what we truly want, but because the risk of failing at something new is just too daunting. We stick to jobs we don't love, avoid hobbies we're curious about, and keep our biggest dreams locked away. But here's the thing. Every single person you admire has failed. They failed spectacularly. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter found a home. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first TV reporting job. Their stories aren't about avoiding failure, they're stories of resilience. They're stories about getting back up one more time than you fall. So, how do we start to change our relationship with failure? How do we go from fearing it to embracing it? I think the first step is to redefine it. Failure is not an identity. Failing at something doesn't make you a failure. It's simply an outcome, an event. It's a data point that tells you, okay, that approach didn't work. What can we try next? It's a sign that you are pushing your boundaries, that you are growing, and that you are brave enough to step into the unknown. Staying in your comfort zone guarantees you'll never fail, but it also guarantees you'll never grow. Let's try a little thought experiment. Imagine your life is a science lab. Every new project, every new skill, every new goal is an experiment. What's the point of an experiment? To test a hypothesis. Sometimes the hypothesis is correct, and you get the expected result. Awesome, but many times, it's not. The experiment fails. A scientist doesn't throw their lab coat on the floor and quit science forever. No, they get excited. They say, "Interesting. Why didn't that work?" They analyze the data, adjust the variables, and design a new experiment. This is the mindset we need to cultivate. When a project at work doesn't go as planned, don't retreat in shame. Get curious. What went wrong? What can I learn from this? When you try a new recipe and it turns into a culinary disaster, laugh about it. Document what you'll do differently next time. You're not a bad cook. You're just one experiment closer to perfecting that dish. Every failure is just a lesson in disguise, and these are often the lessons that stick with us the most. We learn far more from our mistakes than from our instant successes. Another huge part of this is celebrating the effort, not just the outcome. We live in a society that is obsessed with results. We get the gold medal, we get the A+, we get the promotion. But this ignores the most important part of the journey, the process. The late nights studying, the early mornings practicing, the courage it took to even start. When we start celebrating the trying, the vulnerability, and the persistence, the fear of the outcome starts to lose its power. Think about it. If you tried your absolute best, poured your heart into something, and it still didn't work out, is that truly a failure? Or is it a testament to your dedication and courage? I'd argue it's the latter. You should be proud that you had the guts to go for it. That is something to be celebrated. So next time you or a friend tries something and it doesn't pan out, don't just say, "Oh, too bad." Say, "Wow, I am so proud of you for putting yourself out there. That was brave." Let's make celebrating effort the new norm. This shift in perspective is incredibly liberating. When you're no longer terrified of failing, you become free. You become free to be creative, to innovate, and to be authentic. You start asking what if, instead of what if it goes wrong. You're more likely to raise your hand in a meeting with a bold idea, to pick up that guitar you've always wanted to learn, to start that business you've been dreaming about. The world opens up because the invisible walls you built around yourself, made of fear, start to crumble. Let's also talk about the stories we tell ourselves and others. Start normalizing the conversation around failure. We're also curated online, but what if we shared our learning moments more often, not in a way that seeks pity, but in a way that says, "Hey, I tried this, it was a mess, and here's the hilarious or insightful thing I learned." When you share your stumbles, you give other people permission to be imperfect, too. You create a community of support, not a gallery of impossible standards. You show them that the road to success is paved with bumps, detours, and the occasional flat tire. And that's okay. That's normal. This doesn't mean we should aim to fail. The goal is always to succeed, but it means accepting failure as a natural, unavoidable, and even valuable part of the journey toward that success. It's about developing what we call resilience, the ability to bounce back, to adapt, and to keep moving forward with the wisdom you've gained. Resilience is a muscle, and every time you face a setback and choose to learn from it and try again, you're making that muscle stronger. So, my challenge to you this week is this: find something you're a little bit scared to do because you might not be good at it. Maybe it's trying a new workout class, writing the first page of a story, or having a difficult but necessary conversation. Go into it with the mindset of a scientist. Your goal, in perfection, your goal is to learn. And if you fail, I want you to take a moment and genuinely celebrate. Celebrate the courage it took to try. Write down one thing you learned from the experience. Then, figure out your next experiment. Embracing failure is a practice. It won't happen overnight. But by consciously redefining it, celebrating the effort, and sharing our stories, we can strip away its power and turn it into our greatest tool for growth. Failure is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of your comeback story. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about this really important topic. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content that I hope helps you live a more courageous and fulfilling life. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share a time when a failure turned out to be a valuable lesson. Let's normalize this together. Until next time, be brave, be curious, and keep growing. See you soon.